A lot has changed since I last uploaded. AI companies pretty much rule the world. And it's gotten to the point where it's hard to tell what's real or fake anymore. Most normies can't even tell if things are real or fake. Just this morning, I was sent a meme from my mum, which she wouldn't have even thought twice if it was AI or human-made. It was AI, of course. Where do I fit into all of this? Well, about a year ago, I was commissioned to make a banner for a board game event. I'm sure some of you can already tell how much AI was used to make this banner. Just as a disclaimer, I am not a career artist and I was not paid to create this image. However, all graphics, including the animated cows and even the speech bubbles, were all generated using various forms of AI. So, what's the big deal? You probably see AI art on a daily basis now. And some of you, like my mum, either don't notice or don't even care. Some people even defend AI art, describing the process to prompt the software as creative and requiring human direction.
When I make my AI art, I am in full control with a specific vision in my mind that I'm working towards. And as a result, this isn't made by just the AI, it's made by me using the tool of AI to achieve the specific vision that I have in my mind.
I've come to the conclusion that it is bad. It is all bad. Let's discuss why. The first and most obvious reason as to why AI is bad relates directly to career artists. I'm talking about anyone who makes money from creating art. And this can be in the form of a painting, drawing, music, novel, video, etc., etc. The medium is irrelevant. At this point, AI can recreate art in pretty much any format, even sculpture through the use of, a 3D printer, for example. So, using me as an example, instead of using AI to generate the graphics on the banner using AI, I could have approached a real artist and had them make it for me themselves. Yes, there are downsides to this process, such as human error, time, and money. But at the end of the day, I stole an opportunity from a real human being when I decided to do it the easy way. In addition, AI training models sample art from across the internet, allegedly stealing. Unless an artist has given explicit permission to a company, I believe their art has been stolen if a company uses their art to train its AI. World-renowned YouTuber Ethan Klein is even suing some of the world's largest companies for this very reason.
We are suing NVIDIA for stealing 750 of our videos to train their AI model.
A counter-argument people have made is that the companies are only referencing the original art and then creating their own as defensible through fair use law. Here's Ethan's lawyer dismantling that argument.
It's processed in such a way that it is inherently unrecognizable from the original product by the time that they get done with it.
Well, when I eat a hamburger, it's a lot different than the shit that comes out of my ass. Okay?
As crass as that analogy was, the YouTube case has absolutely nothing to do with fair use. It's about how they are getting the content. That's like a red herring that these AI companies are trying to say is like, hey, the outputs of the AI are not infringing works. Although that's not even technically true, because if you are reading a lot of the data, you can see that these AIs are outputting like with 90% word for word accuracy copyrighted books.
I know most of you watching are probably in America, but most of the world doesn't actually share the same laws as you. Even if fair use was a valid argument, that would still only apply in the US with its freedom of speech and fair use laws. This does not apply to the rest of the world. Therefore, using AI to make art not only steals money from human competitors, it could also bring about the end of human-made art entirely. AI requires vast amount of resources to generate and learn at the rate it is currently capable of. Data centers are popping up all across the world, which suck its area of its natural resources. Sure, if the infrastructure is there to handle it, what's the big deal? Let the companies pay for the resources and give back to the communities. This can even be a good thing, as the unemployed can find jobs in said facilities. However, at present time, local infrastructures are not able to maintain the level of resources required for these facilities. These buildings are massive, which obviously uses a lot of material to create. The computing power also requires as many graphics cards as they're able to get, but even to run one of these facilities uses insane amounts of electricity and water. As technology advances, the sheer demand of these centers doesn't appear to become more efficient.
Even if AI energy efficiency improves exponentially, the silicon brains of the future will need all of those server farms, and then some. That's because of a dynamic called the Jevons paradox. Analyst Hugh Wynn at Power Research Group concurs, saying, quote, "The demand for power to train and operate AI models could be materially reduced. However, if these efficiency gains also drive down the cost of AI, the adoption of AI-based services could be significantly faster and more widespread."
They instead require more and more, to the point that this is unsustainable.
All of these data centers require huge amounts of water, and that's not so much of a problem where there is plenty of water to go around. But in places of drought and water stress, like Phoenix in Arizona, where my colleague Dakin went, there it's a completely different situation. These maps show how extreme drought has gripped the state since 2000. Zoom out and you can see the entire southwest is drying up. And then, if we overlay the map we've built, you can see the mega thirsty data centers moving in.
As a side note, if everyone ends up working in these data centers, doing maintenance on the machines rather than doing the work the machine's doing for us, what is left of any humanity involved? This brings me to something I've been alluding to. As we rely more and more on AI, what is there left of the human spirit? You could be an optimist and say, humans are still the ones running things, or the robots aren't killing us. But here's my arguments to those points. Eventually, humans won't be the ones running things. And at that point, what would be the point of us existing? But more importantly, I'm advocating for the very thing that makes us who we are. Our humanity. What humanity is a philosophical argument, but to put it as simply as I can, humanity is the ability to create. Once we lose this, humanity will cease to exist. You may have heard of the dead internet theory. More and more pictures, posts, artworks, websites, etc. are uploaded to the internet every day and presented as if they are real or human-made. This then leads to you, a critically thinking human being, that anything you see, even if it is real, you think that it's AI. There's an amazing comic book artist that I love, Stanley Lau, some of his artworks. But when I first discovered them, I thought it was AI. This is not meant as an insult, as clearly their skill is beyond that of most artists. Maybe you, like me, see this art and think it's familiar because you've probably seen it 1,000 times being recreated through AI. I think it's clear AI has used their style, if not their exact artworks, to train its modeling algorithm. For now, we live in a world of despair. The inability to differentiate an artwork made by a human versus made by an AI robot. I know it started to affect my own human spirit when I saw more and more YouTube videos written and even narrated by AI. Why even bother making this video? Well, I'm making this video to apologize and hopefully convince others of the same conclusion I arrived at. We as humans must continue to make things, and if possible, put an end to the use of AI in the artistic space. I know, big ambitions. So hopefully by now, even if you haven't been convinced, you can at least see my point of view and see why I feel the need to apologize. I'm sincerely sorry for stealing someone's job and adding to the cacophony of AI slop. The banner I showed at the start of this video was created using the following process. I used ChatGPT to recreate the Board Game Group's logo into a cartoon style in various poses. I then prompted it to create different biomes that are common in board game art. You could argue that my human input was to arrange it within the dimensions, but even then, I had to extend the borders when the dimensions of the banner increased, which I used Photoshop's AI to fill in the blanks. You can clearly see where it made mistakes and generated literal slop. Finally, I added the speech bubbles, which were generated using ChatGPT. Again, it could be argued that the human input I used is beyond that of AI capability. However, AI grows more and more intelligent every day. Moving forward, I will not be using AI to create art, generate music, write scripts, or narrate any of my videos. That includes this video. I'll probably still use ChatGPT from time to time to ask it things that Google fails to find, and I don't care about using it for tedious things like rewording emails at work. That's not my job, and I'm not taking it away from anyone else. If I'm approached again to create something, even without pay, I will either do it myself or pay someone else to do it out of my own pocket, provided I can confirm they won't just go ahead and use AI themselves. In the description, I've provided links for various commission websites, even Fiverr, where you can find real people to make art for real. Please share this video with anyone you know that shares memes made with AI or argues talking points that the AI companies would want you to believe. If you made it this far, I can't thank you enough for watching. Adios.
I get it. I try but don't deserve credit. I get it. What am I to do? Placate my headache, my bad take, God take.